Hello!
Yay! Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Greetings, friends!
Hello!
Welcome back to Riff and Rabble. It has been 2 weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Math.
8 years.
It feels like forever. It really does. Anyways, welcome back for those of you who have joined us before, and welcome for those of you who haven't been here before. We are Riff and Rabble. We play D&D whenever we can.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I am Callie. I am the Dungeon Master. I try to keep things rolling in this chaos. Joe, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, like the wonderful DM said, my name's Joe. I play the dwarf Braddock. He is he's just the best. Oh, he's such the goodest dwarf. He is a fighter, protection fighter, and he tries his darndest to keep everybody safe. And so far, mission accomplished, except for himself, because he's died about 4 times.
Yeah. 5. I don't know. Who's keeping track anyways?
You.
Am I? Dave, why don't you introduce yourself before you take a drink?
Hi, I'm Dave. I play an elven wizard called Bravo Quark.
Travis, you can go next.
Okay. I'll take you up on that. Hello, I am Travis or Rigis. I play the human druid Carrion, and he has a wonderful accent that you will grow to love. It's the best.
Or tolerate.
Hey, it could have been worse.
Could have been.
They specifically told me not to do a northeastern accent. United States.
Mm-hmm. Lauren, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I play our very spunky half-elf cleric.
This is the crew. Last time, as it has been a while, we found our party of adventurers traveling out of Bryn Shander with a new companion, Serac, the young acolyte, who had decided to leave town upon discovering that frost giants were searching for his father and perhaps tracking him instead. So he was planning to leave to keep the town safe, and our group of heroes here decided to accompany him south. And they traveled most of the day uneventfully, but when they made camp, discovered their wizard doesn't quite know how all of his spells work, and then discovered that the wildlife in the north is quite interesting. Very dog eat monster. It was interesting, but they survived, barely. Our dwarven fighter got a huge chunk taken out of him, but he survived. And we find them in the morning as the sun is rising, managed to get enough rest to recoup what spells had been cast, what health had been lost, and getting ready to face the trek to Hundlestone. They are about halfway there. And yes, they have some business there. So, the sun is rising on another cold morning. There's a comparatively gentle wind blowing from what you've experienced over the last few days in the north. It's chilly, but it's manageable with your heavy furs. So yeah, we find you packing up, readying for the road to Hundlestone. Is there any business you wish to accomplish before you get going?
Yes, North wants to go poke the beast.
Poke the beast.
She's very interested in things that are dead and dying or decaying.
All right.
And she's never seen this thing before, so she wants to go and poke it.
Well, let me just
She's
turn
got
the
her
lights
journal
back
with her and journal and something to scribble with.
on. Right.
That is a terrifying quality to North that I was unaware of.
Yeah.
On the plus side, I know immediately what's going to happen if Braddock ever dies.
Well, she's gonna try her best to bring him back, but she's never seen a dead dwarf before.
It's really just win-win for her.
Yeah, I mean,
She either saves somebody or gets to poke a dead dwarf.
It's been a while, but one of the very first things that we did was we went into a cavern and North found some mushrooms and she was extremely excited about the mushrooms, so I'm kind of bringing that back.
True. It's been a while since we've heard about the mushroom. All right, so you should be able to see the map now.
Oh, yes, here we are.
So there is a large, in terms of sizes, worm creature thing with lots of tiny legs, weird fin things near the face, antennae, just nasty. And like there's pockets of snow that have melted away where its blood hit. And as Braddock can attest, it was very warm around this creature. He took a bit of fire damage when it bit him in the chest.
A bit.
A little baby bite.
Little baby bite.
In the moment, I meant to ask, that heat, did it just exist in the physical contact, or was it kind of like a radiating, just like being around a fire?
So there was heat that you took from the bite because its mouth was open around you, but you were also taking damage from radiating heat.
Okay. All right, cool. That's what I was wondering.
So yeah, it was just it produced a lot of body heat.
So has it cooled down enough that she could get close to it and maybe touch it?
Make an investigation check.
Uh-oh.
Hot monster burn, baby. Hot monster burn, baby. Uh-oh.
Oh, well.
At this point, the surface of it is cool enough to touch, but still has some residual heat. It's like it won't burn you if you touch it. Perhaps if you cut it open, you might expose some more of the heat, but at the moment, it is safe to touch.
Okay, so she definitely got up at first light, if not a little bit before, to try and get as much that she could before needing to leave. She likes to document creatures and things that she finds, and since she's never been this far north, it's very interesting to her. So she's going to go ahead and touch it. Is it scaly?
It has sort of like an exoskeleton, but not scales like a lizard or anything.
So more like a centipede?
Yeah, kind of insectoid-ish.
She's going to find this very interesting, touch it again, scribble some more, and then she's going to go for one of the legs. Are the legs sharp or are they just pointy?
It does have sort of barbs to aid it in climbing. But it's mostly sort of the face mandibles and the front foremost claws that seem to be the damage type sharpness.
Okay, and then she's gonna move to the head and kind of like touch the antenna, and she's like using her pen to like poke and prod and move things because she's not quite sure if she's touching anything yet.
Yeah.
Because she's not sure if it's poisonous or anything. And she does not care if anyone thinks that she's crazy at this point in time.
All right. Well, you have time to do quite a bit of documentation there. It is a rather fascinating creature. The wounds that were inflicted upon it do steam a little in the cool morning air, but yeah, from your preliminary sort of examination there, it's not like anything you've seen.
She's gonna be mumbling to herself. That's all I want to do. She's literally gonna be walking around the whole thing for as long as she can, documenting, sketching, touching. She might even risk touching some of the blood just to see how hot it really is right now.
All right, it doesn't cause any damage, but it is quite warm.
Braddock's made his way over to the dead bear.
All right, it is in fact a large polar bear.
So does it appear like bigger than normal, or like
Nope.
Braddock's seen bears? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just a bear. Okay, cool.
I mean, it's bigger than the bears you're used to, but it's a polar bear, and it has quite a lot of damage to it. Sort of big gashes in sets of like 3 or 4, looking like claw marks. There's a big hunk missing off sort of the rib cage area where it looks like something began to feed. Probably the corpse that Bravo Corks is currently examining.
Yeah. So, Bravo's looking at this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What does it? What?
Was it you that made the nature check last time, or was it somebody else?
I don't remember.
Oh, make a nature check. See if you know what this is.
I think it was
You've
me.
been in the north.
17.
This is in fact a yeti. This is remarkably similar to the coat you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Did we regenerate our spells?
Yes.
Looks like coats back on the menu.
And all of our HP as well after our fight with the big... Okay.
So as Rajas approaches...
Nope.
Sorry, I screwed
Nope.
that up.
Good start.
As Carrion approaches, Braddock spins around very fast. It was kind of like he was lost in thought and was startled a bit. Oh! Didn't see you there, Master Druid.
Are you okay, Braddock? You seem distracted.
Braddock looks around. No, he almost bristles a little bit. No, I'm fine. We need to pack up and get going.
Yes, I agree. But before that, I actually was hoping to speak to you about our encounter with the beast, whatever. I forget what Serac called it. Are you doing okay? Are your wounds closed?
Braddock kind of like rotates his shoulder, holds his arm out and turns it around, kind of grips his shoulder. Well, aside from topical, no, I'd say I'm fine. Bit of heart pride. But beyond that, no, I should be fine.
All right, then. What you wanted to get going, is that right?
Yes, he kind of looks a bit wistful, a bit sad over his shoulder at the bear carcass. And, yes, no, and he shakes it off. No, we should get moving. Let's go.
Looks back at the bear and then at Braddock. This is not uncommon in nature.
Yeah, no, I understand. Circle of life and all of that, but... well, it's just, I have a fondness for bears. Just keep it to yourself. Let's go.
Carrion kind of stood there for a moment, like, actually surprised. And then he plods along after him, using his staff to leverage himself through the snow.
Is it too big to skin this thing relatively quickly?
By yourself? Yeah, probably. Depending on how much time you want to spend here. If a couple of you went at it, then you might be able to do it in a reasonable amount of time.
What if, say, I had a spell that let me cast Helper, and also a spell that gave me an extra hand.
That could certainly help speed up the process.
Okay. So then I will hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not. Okay, so I'm gonna do Mage Hand and Unseen Servant.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just click on it and then you can see what it does.
Ooh.
All right.
So I can have some like an invisible dude come and help me, and then
Mhm.
I'll have a mage hand to mage hand things with.
All right. Well, roll survival. You won't get advantage because you have to control these things. So,
Oh.
it doesn't help you do better. It just helps you go
Oh,
faster.
there we go.
17.
17. I only had a +2 on that, so I was worried.
Well, you start cutting into it, and between the unseen servant and this ghostly hand, sort of holding the skin as you cut and like rolling it back, kind of thing. You take the better part of an hour and a half to skin it, and you actually get a pretty decent pelt out of it. Like, you do. This isn't something that you've really done, but you get a pretty good sized pelt, and it's pretty intact. You could probably fetch a good amount of money.
Awesome. How much does a Yeti pelt weigh?
It'll weigh a lot. I'll say 20 pounds. You get 20 pounds worth.
Half
Okay.
of one Braddock.
All right. I do that and I roll up this gooey Yeti pelt,
Mm-hmm.
and stick it, tie it to the bottom of my pack.
Alright.
That
I imagine it would freeze fairly quickly.
Yeah.
that was quite amazing. Bravo.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen anyone do that.
I have read the principles in a book, and then obviously I, aided by magic, was able to do such a large task by myself.
I wonder if that's something that I could. No, probably not. Nonetheless, amazing.
Oh, well, yes. Thank you. Yes.
He's gonna flag down Braddock. He's not gonna really move, but he's gonna flag down Braddock and then Serac. Just gonna like motion them for them to come over.
Braddock's halfway down the road, heading on.
He's already in Hundlestone.
Yeah, he turns around, just affable. Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Now you two would know more about this than I would. Should we perhaps break off a piece of the monster over there to bring to Hundlestone as proof of its existence?
I mean, they probably know that they exist.
Yes, but along this road, and maybe there's a bounty for one.
It's possible. It's been a while since I've been to Hundlestone, but they could probably pass the word along to Bryn Shander for us.
Serac, that creature over there. What did you say it was?
A Remoraz?
Right, the Remoraz, that heat they give off. How long does that last for?
What do you mean?
What I mean,
How long?
Carrion's right. If there's a bounty, we should take it back and claim the bounty. But if I go over there and lop its head off, I'm not going to get, burned and whatnot, am I?
I can't. I don't know. I've never killed one.
So Braddock, almost happy that he has work to do, hefts the axe into both hands. Right, well, no, since wondering about it, I'll find out. He heads off.
Perhaps you should check with North first, Braddock.
He's already like 3/4 into a swing. Huh? Oh, right. North. Be ready in case there's still a bit of hot whatever it is that comes out of a Remoraz.
He kind of hurries up and he puts his hand out. That's not what I meant, Braddock. North, based on your observations of the creature, is it safe for Braddock to cut off its head, I believe he is trying to do?
Well, why would you want to do that? It's
bounty! And he's about to swing again.
Wait, a what?
Carrion thinks there's a bounty, and he's about to swing for a third time.
Like a trophy, you know.
A trophy?
Yes, a kill trophy.
But if this was just a baby...
That's not the point. I'm asking if it's safe for him to cut off its head after your observations.
Braddock's like measuring different lengths of the neck about where to cut, like here, no, here, like a how far down the neck counts as the head.
Well, the blood is still pretty hot. I mean, you can touch the carcass and you'll be okay. I've kind of like stuck my fingers in a little bit and it sort of hurt. I can't say if it's safe or not to chop the head off.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So is Braddock swinging?
I mean, so what Braddock did is he's basically got the axe two-handed up. And he looks, he like swings around just at the waist.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Swing or not to swing?
Actually, I was just thinking of like a leg or an antenna or something.
Yeah, maybe, I guess we could just bring a couple pieces from the face. Those aren't going to be easily achievable if the monster's not dead.
Braddock looks genuinely disappointed and just casually hacks off a leg like you might take off a piece of king crab. He doesn't even use his axe. He just like snatches it and yanks and pulls. And then just like tosses it on the ground behind him and walks off dejected. What is the point of having an axe if you can't hear?
What's wrong with him? Anyway, I guess we're leaving now?
Yes, you have everything packed up?
Yep.
So Carrion would kind of bend down and pick up the leg and kind of like toss. I'm assuming like toss it over the shoulder. So like I'm assuming there's a joint in the leg, so it's just like sitting on his shoulder, you know, resting on it.
Yep.
And kind of walk off.
All right. So you're all ready to hit the road?
See.
All right. Then I'm going to bring you back to the artwork. All right. So, you guys begin the rest of the journey to Hundlestone. It's another bright day. The sun reflecting off the snow. The wind is blowing a bit of the snow across, but nothing irritating to the eyes or blocking the vision. Just sort of a gentle winter day. It's not quite winter, but so it's a rather uneventful journey. As you go, the sun is beginning to droop in the sky before you spot the first signs of the town. You start to see sort of on a rise in the track, the road that you're following, sort of nestled against, like, you're much closer to the spine of the world, the mountain range now. And so sort of nestled sort of at the foot, a little bit a ways from the mountains, up on this rise and in the road, you can see rooftops, not very high off the ground, it seems, but just you can see the very straight, slanted angles of man-made buildings as opposed to the rough, rocky terrain. You can see a bit of smoke drifting gently up into the air. So you'll get there just as it's starting to get dark. Is there anything you want to do before you get to town?
Well, I think Bravo Corks would be doing his patented walking and reading. He'd be reading the poetry book.
Mm-hmm. You'll be stumbling a lot more. The road here is a lot more rocky and uneven, but yeah, you get some reading done. So as you climb the last little bit of the road to Hundlestone, you begin to see people moving about from building to building. It's actually a lot bigger than it seemed from afar. Now that you're up close, there's a lot more buildings. It was just harder to tell because a lot of the roofs, even as steeply pitched as they are, they still have a lot of snow on them. They're the same color as the surrounding terrain. It's all brown covered in white, so it was hard to tell exactly the size of this town. It's not anywhere as big as Bryn Shander, mind you, but there are a lot more buildings here than you thought they were, and they are quite low to the ground, as a matter of fact. And as you approach the town and sort of enter the town proper, you realize that most of the town folk here are either dwarves, gnomes, or halflings. You spot the occasional human, but far fewer than the others. And you see them going in and out of buildings. You spot sort of a what looks to be a mine entrance off at the back towards the mountains. And yeah, people just going about their business. There's chatter.
So are all the buildings, do they seem to be sized for the smaller folk? Like, is it going to turn into Gandalf and the Hobbit house?
Well, you can't really see inside of them because of the steep pitched roofs. They come down quite low, but it's hard to tell from the outside how big they are inside. At least the doorways that you see, you will all, except for Braddock, you'll all have to duck quite low.
Gonna be a Braddock episode tonight. Maybe this is the one where Braddock gets stuck in the teleporter.
So, what are you looking for? Where do you want to go?
Braddock's looking for a teleport. No, I'm kidding. So like, as soon as it dawns on Braddock that he's amongst at least some of his kind, like he's not in his home city, but at least he's amongst fellow dwarves and small folk, he's gonna just like have more pep in his step. He's just gonna appear caffeinated, just not happy. Happy's not a word Braddock would use to describe himself, but ready. Taut. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He's gonna definitely be in front, and he's just going to talk without looking over his shoulder. I don't know about you, but I think Huddlestone was a good idea. Huddlestone.
Well,
Huddlestone.
I do recall you chastising me for wanting to come here. Yes.
And I might still.
Yeah, well, yes. Okay.
I don't think I've seen so many dwarves in one place before.
North is trying to not be rude, but she definitely hasn't seen this many small people ever. So she's like staring, but trying to not stare, but still like in awe of what she's looking at.
They're like little babies.
All right, so where are you heading?
It's getting dark, yeah?
Yes, it is.
Do I see an inn anywhere?
After wandering for a little while, you do spot a sign that looks like an inn, and it is simply called the Huddlestone Inn. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traffic at that point, or at that building, but it does stand a little taller than the others, and seems clean, and there's smoke coming from the chimney, so...
Does there appear to be a well or anything in the town that I could use?
Not that you've spotted so far, but if you asked around, you might be able to find something.
Okay. I'd stop one of the townspeople. Excuse me, yes. Is there... I see the inn over there, but is there a place to get water? My water skin is empty.
There, you happen to stop a female halfling, and she's sort of covered in soot and grime, and she just, there's a well over by the mine shaft, but there's also one just behind the inn, actually, where they draw their water. You could probably fill your water skin there.
Oh, thank you. That'll do just fine.
All right. She continues on her way.
Carrion just kind of like, doesn't even say anything, just kind of watches like, okay, that's different. And then, yes, well, I don't know about all you, but I am quite thirsty. And he heads over to behind the well. Oh, darn it, I should have asked her about the stupid leg for the Rimaraz.
Braddock pipes up. Oh, that should be easy. And he finds like a passing dwarf and just in dwarfish calls out, like just doesn't loud, just like not even walking over. Basically just goes, "Excuse me, is there a bounty on that?" And he indicates the leg that Carrion's holding.
Carrion is like continuing to walk away. The leg is still draped over his shoulder, but he doesn't understand what Braddock's saying because it's in dwarvish.
The human, or what?
Oh, no, sorry. Remoraz, I believe's the name of it.
Remor. You probably won't find much for bounty in Huddlestone. Maybe Brinshander or somewhere in 10 Towns.
All right, thank you. Where's a good place to get a drink around here?
Well, you got the inn, or you've got the foam head over there. And he points to a smaller but seemingly more well-traveled building. There's a lot more people going in and out of it.
Braddock nods. Thank you, friend, and he jogs off after Carrion.
Bravo Corks probably would have stood behind Braddock, and after he walked away, Bravo Corks would have said, "Yes, well, hello. My name is Bravo Corks, and that one that just left, he is Brady Beans. Do you have a library or a general store or perhaps a repository of books?"
You're joking.
No. I never. What? I don't know how.
General store, yeah. Library, not so much.
Every good and every wonderful place has a library.
Well, if you don't think our town is wonderful, you're free to hit the road.
No. I was simply, it is wonderful here. It could be perhaps more wonderful if there was a place of stored knowledge in book form.
Are you messing with me?
No, not at all. Perhaps you could point me in the direction of the general store.
All right. Well, Garrick's is over that way and around the corner.
Yes. Yes, Gregory's. I will thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Around the corner, you said, yes?
Yep.
Yes. Well, thank you for your help. I hope to see you again soon. Friend?
Don't follow me.
No. Why? What a? As I'm walking away, what a curious thing to say. So I would go over and try and find the general store.
All right.
Having caught up with Carrion, Braddock would just like in passing go, "There's not a bounty. Beer's this way. Let's go."
Yes, I need to get some water for the road first. It's always best to be prepared, especially when it's in short supply.
Braddock hands Carrion his canteen. "I agree. Here's mine. Beer's this way. Meet you there." And he's off.
Okay then. And Carrion fills up both at the well and slings his back onto his belt, and is just kind of holding Braddock's. And he only saw, he pointed that way towards the inn. He just assumed it was the inn, so he's gonna venture into the inn.
All right.
Martha's definitely been following Carrion, and then she is going to ask, so how much longer are you going to hold on to that leg?
This one. Why? Did you want it?
Maybe a piece of it? And she pulls out a little piece of cloth and is totally ready to put a little piece in it just so that she can carry it with her and see how it tastes.
Oh, we're just doubling down on the weirdness.
Decays.
Oh, decays. I heard taste, and I was like, oh.
No, she doesn't want to eat it. She's not that weird. Only if it's food. Come on now.
Anything's food if you try hard enough.
Well, Braddock didn't say if there was a bounty on it or not.
You didn't hear him? He said no. And then beer.
Is that what he said? Oh. I suppose we don't really need it then, though I'm not really sure what to do with it now.
North's gonna take her dagger out and take little bits and pieces from it, and the shell bits that she knows aren't gonna that are gonna probably maintain their form. She's gonna press them between her journal pages, and then the little bits of meat and tendon that's probably in there, she's gonna wrap up in a cloth. Well, I guess you can throw it anywhere then. And she's very pleased with herself, tucking it away and patting her hand.
So I can't say I'd recommend eating that. I mean, I suppose you never know, it might be delicious, but
I'm not eating this.
Oh, well that's reassuring.
It's still warm. That's fascinating. And she's gonna write stuff in her journal.
Yes, that is rather odd, actually. And Carrion is there are we in the dead center of town, or is there a cluster of trees nearby where you can just huck this bug leg?
You're pretty central, but out back of the inn where the well was, there's sort of like a rubbish heap off a ways, just sort of where they throw their compost and stuff.
Just huck it down the well.
No. So he's gonna.
Not that kind of well.
He's going to just go to the compost and kind of just toss it on top. Why not?
All right.
Yes, well, I suppose we should head to the inn. Braddock said something about drinks.
Yes, he did. Very excitedly.
Yes.
All right. So you go into the inn. There's actually an entrance to the inn from the back here. They frequently
Oh, we don't see it.
the water pump, the well pump words.
Is there a
Anyways,
map for this?
no.
Okay.
I don't have a map, I'm sorry. So you enter, there are some people in here. You have to duck quite low to get through the doorway, but once you're inside, you can stand at your full height, though the ceiling is a lot closer than you're used to. The people who are inside all sort of look at you as you enter. Most of them just sort of glance at you and then keep going about their business, enjoying their conversations, drinking, as there is a tavern set up on the main floor here. But you're greeted by a gnome, a female gnome who has an apron, curly brown hair, sort of pulled back in a ponytail. She greets you. Oh, new travelers, welcome. What can I get for you?
Yes, I would. And he's scanning the bar for Braddock. Is Braddock there, or is he in the other place?
You do not see Braddock.
Yes, I would. Looks like my friend is not here. Well, no matter. We would be staying the night. Do you have any free rooms?
Yeah. How many do you need?
That depends. How much are they?
Fairly reasonable. If you're only looking to stay the night, it's about a gold each room. If you're looking to stay longer, we could make a deal. I don't.
Dorothy's already fishing out like a gold piece from her pack. One for me, and is gonna hand it over.
Thank you.
How many to a room?
Well, depends on how comfortable you're looking to be, but could fit two comfortably, and well, I mean, if they're all as big as you, two.
Yes.
Oh, this is gonna be all this episode is let's make fun of the tall guy.
Shoes on the other foot for once. Yes, then I suppose that'll be one more room, and the other two can decide what they'd like. Or three, I suppose, now, yeah. And he fishes out a gold and hands it to her. Are the meals separate? And the drink?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should find the rest of our friends. Now, is there, you know what, never mind. May I have the key, please?
Yes, indeed. And she goes behind the bar and comes back out. The bar is quite low. You can see right over top of it. She grabs two keys off the wall, comes back and hands one to each of you. They've got the room numbers attached, and she just sort of points you in the direction of the stairwell. It doesn't really go up too high. It's more like sort of like a split level where it's just a sort of a half staircase, and then they go off in a wing sort of style. The rooms are out that way, and feel free to come back whenever you're finished your business.
Thank you. And Carrion takes off towards his room, and he sets down his pack with all the heavy stuff and the rations and whatnot. And I'm assuming the door's locked, yeah?
Yep.
He'd lock it in there.
All right.
North would have shuffled up and done the same. Once they got into the room, that was definitely more cozy. Leaf would have made his way up, and she probably lost some time playing with him. So if Carrion was waiting, he'd be waiting a little bit longer.
He knocked on the door with his staff.
Oh, sorry. And then Leaf jumps back on her, and she's got her mace and her dagger and her armor on, but she left her pack and stuff, and comes out like a little sheepishly and closes the door and locks it.
I suppose we should find the rest. Who knows where Braddock got off to? I wonder if he even remembers why he's here. Oh goodness, I hope he didn't go off with someone else.
All right. In the meantime, Braddock, you were headed for the foam head, right? Oh, I can't hear you.
So, that is correct. Braddock made it. Ooh.
Oh dear.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know.
So Braddock made it to the foam head, like you said, and as soon as he got there, he bought a round for himself and everyone else. So he's just got he kind of picked out a booth, kind of one of those up against the wall, kind of in the back bench booths, and he's just got surrounded around him four. I forgot how many people were in our party for a second.
Well, Sirac, he's not with you, but he's
So he's got 5 beers. Just he's kind of grabbed them St. Pauli girl style, and just has gone off to his booth, and he just sits down, but he doesn't drink yet, and he's just waiting, like kind of tense, just waiting for his friends to come in the door. Any minute now, here they come through the door, and I'll welcome them with a bunch of alcohol, and it'll be great. And then like minutes pass, and nobody shows up, and well, he's not gonna not drink the beer.
We wouldn't want it to get warm.
Yeah.
So he drinks all of those beers and orders a whole new round.
All right. And the barkeep obliges you. She is a blonde-haired dwarf by the name of Ilde. And it's quite busy in there, much busier than the inn. It's rowdy. It's almost full. There's still a couple tables and booths free, but much busier than the inn, and the bar staff are kept quite busy, but they get you your drinks quite quickly considering how many patrons are there. And it's a better part of like half an hour, 45 minutes before you realize your friends are not around.
We're on our way.
In the meantime, Bravo Corks, you realize that Sirac has been following you. And with his help, you end up finding the Garrick General Store. There are a couple other people in there also, but the person behind the counter greets you as you enter. It's a gnome woman. She sort of looks up as you come in and says, "Oh, I'll be with you in a minute," and goes back to helping the customer she was with at the time.
Yes. Well, yes. Okay. I'll peruse your goods, and Bravo would look around.
And Sirac starts looking around as well. And, are you looking for anything in particular?
Oh, always books. If you happen to see any books or scrolls or ancient scrollings, let me know, please. But anything useful, really.
Okay. On like anything?
What? Yes. Yes.
All right. You can go ahead and make an investigation check if you're looking for books.
Okay. 12.
Not much in the way of books. There are like posters on the wall, but they're not really. It's mostly sort of drawing. Like wanted posters. There's some artwork type things, but like not really much in the way of literature or books or anything of that sort. Nothing magical, certainly.
Mm.
It's actually a lot of like tools, like packed for travel. A lot of warm gear, like warm clothing. There's a lot of things like mining related, tools and whatnot.
Right.
But not a lot of books. Not any books.
Okay. Well, I think the wanted posters would catch Bravo Quarks' eye.
All right. There are two different ones, and one is for. Hang on a moment. One is for a human man by the name of Argan Nog.
Can you spell that for me?
Argan
Okay.
Nog.
Nog. Okay.
For theft, wanted by the Luskin authorities. And there is one for a female elf, simply known as Venrel. Venrel.
Okay.
There is no crime listed, but the bounty is attributed from Waterdeep.
Okay. Waterdeep. Okay. So Bravo would probably like just kind of wait patiently, seeing that there's nothing that super interests him. He would wait patiently for this the shopkeep. Wow, that word was interesting.
All right. After you've been perusing the store for books, the gnome woman comes up and she says, "Sorry for the wait. My name's Orla. This is my shop. How can I help you?"
Yes. Wonderful shop. I quite like your posters. Do you have anything that is perhaps a little bit longer and bound together and perhaps in a case?
Serac kind of he's looking for books. No, not much demand for books. You're looking for written ones or empty ones?
Well, preferably written ones. Empty ones are terribly boring to read.
Well, you gotta fill them. I don't have any, but if you're planning to stay a while, I could maybe get an order in before the road closes.
Yes. Well, I'm not entirely sure on how long we're here, so I don't want to put in an order that I cannot honor. So I don't want to put you out. Yes. Do you purchase goods that perhaps people might bring in?
Sometimes if they're good, yes. Do you have something to offer?
Well, yes. And he kind of like throws his pack kind of like on the table, and it kind of hits with a thud.
And a
Yes,
splat.
and a little bit of a wet splat. Yes. Well, on our way here, we were accosted by a yeti. I have procured its pelt. Would you? It's rather raw. Would you like to purchase this from me?
Well, and she sort of, starts examining it, pulls it, like unrolls it a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's not bad. Needs some cleaning. Needs to be treated. Good weight to it, though.
Yes, I'm well acquainted with the weight.
Yeah, I could give you. Let's see. We could get. Oh, that's. I'll give you 5 gold for the whole thing.
Yes, well, if you feel that that is a fair price, then of course, I would be more than happy to do business with you.
All right, and she goes back sort of behind the counter, fiddles around a bit, comes back around. She's got some coins in her hand, drops it on the table. There's 5 gold coins there, and she says, "Well, anything else I can help you with?"
Do you happen to have like travel rations, perhaps?
Yes, certainly. Do you need them now, or are you going to be sticking around for a while?
Probably. I don't need them now, but I'm not entirely sure when I'm heading out. When do you think you might have supply of those things?
Well, I have them fairly regularly. I could set a couple aside for you. How many were you thinking of buying?
5 gold worth.
All right. I can do that.
Well, how many is that before we conclude this deal?
I believe that was quite a lot. I don't remember the price. I told you guys the price before. I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember it being in silver, though.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe not 5 golds worth. Maybe, maybe like 5 rations. I thought they were a gold apiece.
No, I don't think so. All right. 5 rations is fine. She can set those aside for you so that, she has 5 rations when you're ready to go.
Okay.
All right. If that's all that you're looking for.
Yes, I think so. Oh, one more thing. Do you know who I can't one moment, and he pulls out sort of a piece of paper from inside of his robes. Do you know who this is? And he turns the piece of paper and he points to the note that he wrote down from I have her name here somewhere. Beldora. Beldora. And he points to it, and it's Thwip Ironbottom. Do you know who that person?
Thwip. Who doesn't know who Thwip is? Yes, I know Thwip Ironbottom. What business do you have with him?
I was told to find him for some answers.
Well, he's on the western edge of town. You'll probably recognize the house from all the bangs and whistles coming from it. There might be a hole or two in the walls or the roof. Who knows?
What sort of person is this Thwip Ironbottom?
Oh, you haven't met him?
No, not at all. This is actually the first time I've actually heard of him.
Oh, he's an interesting fella. He's an inventor of sorts. Some of his inventions work, some of them don't.
Oh. What kind of invention?
Oh, just this and that. Most of it's not very helpful around here. Maybe they'd be interesting in big cities where people can spend their money on frivolous things, but he does them nonetheless.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. I will return. Again, I'm not entirely sure when we're heading out, but I shall return for those rations.
No problem. They'll be here when you need them, dear.
Thank you ever so much.
All right. So as you leave the general store, we're going to take our break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, guys.
Be right back. Jazz hand. Hello. Welcome back. Thank
Thanks.
you for the pee break. All right. So, we now return to the Foamhead Tavern, where Braddock has been impatiently waiting for his friends to show up.
I mean, he's had no choice. He's had to drink 2 rounds of 5 people's beers. It's a terrible travesty.
And that's how we find him as a small gnome enters the tavern. A male gnome, hair kind of sticking out at weird angles. He's got goggles on his head and sort of like a mark around his eyes where they seem to sit, and like sort of like darkened dirt, dust and that around the skin around his eyes. He sort of glances around and doesn't seem to see what he's looking for, and then lays eyes on Braddock and kind of wanders over and yes, hello. Are you from Bryn Chender? You're just traveling here?
What?
You're traveling with some companions, 4 or 5 of them, I believe.
Braddock puts an elbow on the table and holds up a finger. All right. First off, who are you? Second of all, how do you know any of that?
Oh, my name's Thwip. Thwip Ironbottom. I believe one of your group has come to see me, and I know because Beldora told me. I'm just hoping I have the right dwarf.
Oh, why is that? Because we all look the same.
No, I just... There may have been more than one dwarf traveling to Hundlestone today. We don't get all that many visitors this time of year. I just figured that you were the one I was looking for because I recognize everybody else.
So you're Thwip Ironbottom. You're the person that our wizard was headed here to see.
The wizard part is new information to me, but yeah, that's me.
Why did you find the wizard then? Why me? Why'd you come seek out the dwarf?
Well, I didn't know it would be you. I checked the inn earlier and didn't see anybody, and the tavern was the next logical spot. Check.
Well, they should be here any time now. You might as well sit and wait.
And he hops up on one of the seats and...
I meant at your own... never mind, it's fine. Yes, sit there. I'll buy you around. And he puts a hand up and points at any one of the tin mugs now on his table.
Ilda comes over and starts grabbing up the empties and takes them away before bringing back 2 fresh mugs. So, this is your first time to Hundlestone, I assume?
Oh, aye, and I must say, he says, eyeing up a dwarf female, I'm quite fond of the city already.
Oh, yes. Well, I imagine, depending on where you hail from, that this feels much more like home than many of the cities in the north. But I'm glad that you are enjoying your time here so far.
Braddock inclines his head slightly. Citadel Art Bar.
Oh, that's quite a distance away, but yeah, not so different. Certainly fewer gnomes and halflings, I imagine, but yes, much better than Brinchander.
Braddock breaks out in a deep chuckle. And a great deal more rock overhead. And he just downs like half of his beer.
Yes, our mine, I imagine, pales in comparison to the mines of Citadel Adbar, but the copper and tin we get out of there, it runs our little town well enough.
Copper and tin. Well.
Yep. Oh, yeah, not super valuable, but it keeps me in materials for my inventions, so I don't complain.
Your inventions? What do you invent?
Oh, this and that. I do tinkering with different mechanisms and sometimes things like clocks or clockworks. I particularly like all those gears and just seeing them mesh well together. And sometimes the devices are quite handy. Sometimes I can get them quite automated as well, and sometimes, and he starts feeling his face, and sometimes I lose eyebrows, but it's no pain without advancement, right? Or is
Braddock,
it no advancement without pain?
I'm sure you were right the first time. Say, Thwip, good Mr. Ironbottom, why, pray tell, would our wizard be seeking you out?
Did he not tell you?
Well, he did, but, our wizard has a roundabout way of explaining things.
Well, from what Baldora told me, that seems probably a reasonable side effect of... Well, I mean, why don't we wait for your friends to join us before we get into all that? The ale here is really quite good.
I am well acquainted with your local ale.
At this point, the rest of you will have probably located the tavern and have a look inside.
Ah, yes, see? There he is. And he's motioning to north. Is Bravo with us?
Him and Serac will be just sort of walking up the road at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so there he is, North. Let's go and join him. Ah, it looks like he even bought us some around. Or maybe it's all for him, I don't really know.
I could go for something to drink.
Braddock sees him and waves him over like way too wide, almost like hitting someone.
Oh, got a head start, did we? And she's gonna kind of sit down, plop down.
Well, you're late, and he slides a beer over to North, and then he just does the same with Carrion.
Late? You didn't even tell us where you were going. All you said was beer. Just gonna take a big sip.
I believe what I said was there's no bounty on those, and beer is that way, and then I went that way.
So descriptive.
Yes, the inn was also that way. Seems like the rooms will sleep too, and are a gold a night.
Two of you, he says with a chuckle.
Why, yes, that's exactly what she said.
At this point, Serac and Bravo are entering, having to duck low to enter the tavern.
Were these,
Yes.
just
Well,
real quick.
see, sir, what is it again?
Serac.
Yes. See, Syrian. We have different planes of existence, and that is exactly where the magic and force of magic comes from is all of these wonderful planes, and then you can call on different planes, and sometimes you get a helper, and sometimes it doesn't work so well, and you don't get a helper.
I see. So similar in how I communicate with the gods and they fill me with the power, you instead tap directly into this weave you mentioned of magical powers. And oh, look, there's your friends.
Yes, see, that's exactly how it works. Actually, there's quite a an interesting intricate connection between the I imagine that Sirac would have just like been pushing him the entire time.
Basically pushing him towards the table.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, hello. Yes. Hello.
Ah, bravo. It's good that you found us. Have a seat. And Sirac, hello. Braddock bought us a round of beers that came pre-drank. He tips over the mug.
Oh, wonderful! You've done all the hard work for us.
Nonsense! I'll get you more. He says, like far too loud. Like he's just lost all of his social conventions.
How long have you been waiting for us, and how many have you had?
Braddock starts counting, and as he counts, he starts leaning over into his chair and then catches himself at 10.
He already had some well before even I arrived. So
Oh, I almost forgot. And he beckons wide towards the gnome, and just like shoves 2 or 3 mugs aside with his beckon. May I introduce to you the good master, artist? No, sorry, Tink. Iron Bottom.
Twip. Yes.
Twip.
Iron Bottom. Yes.
And Bravo just kind of like and points.
Ha! You must be Bravelquarks that I've heard of.
Yes. That is me. I'm looking for you.
Well, you have found me. Congratulations.
Excellent. Most wonderful. Perhaps I was told perhaps you could answer some questions for me.
I can certainly try. What questions do you have for me?
I don't remember.
Yes, I can see how that would be. Yes. Okay. Well, Beldora did tell me that you were coming. So she told me a bit of what you are experiencing currently. However, given your obvious lack of memory, it is little challenging to fully understand your situation, but I can do my best.
I have an idea.
Oh, great.
Why don't you give me the answers now, and then we'll save the questions for later.
Interesting. Well, I can give you some answers, but I don't know that they will be to the questions that you wish to ask.
Yes, well, that checks out.
Yeah. Well, you see, I am not exactly who you will need to speak to, given your current condition. However, Beldora has assured me of your membership, so I can inform you and your group. And then he looks at the group and sort of... Does your group know your membership?
It may have it may not have come up in current conversation.
Oh, indeed. Oh, that was foolish of me. Well, shall we find a more private place to continue this conversation.
I believe that might be a good idea. Yes.
I think Carrion.
Too late. Carry on.
Yeah, I think Bravo and Carrion did talk about it briefly. Because Carrion, I remember I asked you if Carrion would know who the people are that he's a member of, and you're like, "Yep, they've dealt with the Enclave." It's like, okay. Then
Yeah, the group itself isn't necessarily a secret, but some of the members would be.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that Bravo has shared that he is a member.
Oh, okay.
Because his meeting with Beldora was private as well. Flip just kind of I have something for your group, and he sort of reaches into his coat and pulls out this tiny contraption and sets it on the table, and you see it's a small metal, looks sort of canine like, and he pulls out a metal key, and he says, if you wind it just so, and he gives it a few turns and then lets it go, it starts wagging its tail and starts like circling the table, looking at each of you, and then just sort of sits in the table and waits. And he goes, if you wind it properly, it will follow you for 12 hours, roughly, and then you can wind it again, and it will continue to follow you, and it's quite neat.
Carrion,
What a marvelous contraption! This is amazing!
I thought so.
what
Sorry,
is
go
it? A
ahead.
dog or a wolf? Or
It's a dog. It would be like dog breed. Like a
German Shepherd kind of looking thing, or
kind of smaller, more like Jack Russell
okay. Yes,
kind of size.
And he gets really close to it. Yes, is it alive? And he kind of Carrion, kind of like he tries to pet it.
Well, alive is a relative term. It has no organs or brain, but it is capable of following that which it perceives as its master, and that is typically the one who holds the key. And so he sets the key down for whoever takes it. It's just one of my many inventions, one of the more successful ones, if I do say so myself. But
Bravo. Go ahead.
it is just metal, so don't bond with it too much.
And Carrion sits back. Yes, it doesn't seem to give off a feeling of life.
Bravo's slowly reaching towards the key, like looking around the table, like at everyone.
Well,
Yes, help yourself. Interesting, but I don't think I'd have a use for it.
North's gonna kind of giggle. It's probably the only thing that Bravo can keep alive besides himself.
And then he slowly puts the key into his cloak.
so, would you like to see my shop, Bravo?
Oh yes, that would be wonderful. But before we go, what is the name of this delightful creature?
It does not have a name. It's just one of my clockwork devices. I thought the shape of a dog would be pleasing.
Well, right you are. Dogs usually have names. Would you mind if I named it?
It is yours. Name it.
Excellent, wonderful.
So, it's been wonderful to meet you all. And he hops out of the chair, and I will see you all later.
Braddock sits up. Wait, but aren't you who we're supposed to meet here?
Well, technically, only Bravocork had business with me, and though I appreciate your company, given that he has not shared certain information with you, the rest of what I have to tell him just won't make much sense, so...
Well, what a surprise. Bravo Corks is not part of the party again.
Well, if he chooses to share what I tell him with you, then that is his choice. But it is not my information to pass on to anyone else, so... Goodbye!
Are we sitting at a booth or a table with chairs?
It's a booth with a couple chairs on the open end.
Okay. Is Bravo leaving with him?
Yeah. I would be getting up and
So
leaving.
Carrion gets up too, and he kind of like grabs onto Bravo's shoulder and kind of twirls him away from the door. Yes, Bravo. How can you be sure that this person and whoever they're working with means you no harm?
Well, I don't, I suppose. There's no guarantee of safety doing really anything in life, so that's how I've lived my life so far, and I've gotten I don't even know how many years out of it.
Yes, fair enough. Well, in that case, send Grillion for us if anything should happen. We will be either here or at the inn across the road there.
Yes. Well, I'll be sure to do that. I doubt it will be needed, but thank you for your concern. I will meet you back at the inn later.
Yes, take care then. And Carrion sits down. Did they ever get their beer?
Yes, it has been brought.
And drinks from his beer and kind of nods at Braddock.
Braddock just looks disgusted, just shakes his head.
Nort's gonna look to Serac and she's gonna take a big sip and be like, so, how much fun did you have today?
Well, we didn't get attacked by a giant insect thing, so that's been great.
How many nicknames did you get?
Well, I mean, mostly he sticks to one, but the more you correct him, the more nicknames you get, so, like, you just sort of stop after a while.
Yeah, he does have a problem with names, doesn't he?
No
Remembering
kidding.
and honesty and openness and forthcomingness and togetherness and a general party atmosphere.
All right, and she's gonna, like, pat him down, like, enough.
He does seem forgetful, but he does seem, I don't know, well-intentioned.
Yes.
Distrustful?
Well, Braddock, I can't say that I think he would be outright lying to us. I mean, have you spent more than 5 minutes with Bravo? He just oozes happiness. Surprised it's not all over the floor.
I'm not saying that he's lying to us. I do think that he's willfully keeping vital information from us all.
You think that he can remember to keep vital information from us all?
I'm not sure how much he's
Brady
aware.
beans?
I'm not sure he's aware how much he can and can't keep from us. But it'd be interesting to know when he gets back whether he decides to share anything he's learned from Iron Bottom.
Yes.
Thwip! His name is Thwip.
Yeah. Yes. His name is Thwip. Yes. Well, the way I see it, there's no point in being bent out of shape about something that you don't need to be bent out of shape about yet. Perhaps he will share with us, and if he does, great, and if he does not, well, I don't really know if that's a problem, or it will be, but we shall see.
Keep your expectations low and you won't be disappointed. You'll either be right or pleasantly surprised.
Is that why you're always so grumpy?
Yes!
Cheers! She's gonna bring her mug up.
You're here until we find your father, and you're gone. No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that at all. He just doesn't say anything.
That would have been fun.
All right. So as you guys continue your drinking, Thwip leads Bravocorks through the town to the western edge where his home is. And though it doesn't appear to have any holes in it, it does seem to have had patches, repairs. And he leads you inside. Again, you have to duck pretty low to get through the doorway, but once inside, it's spacious enough that it's not uncomfortable. But his house is... Every surface seems to be covered in metal pieces and partially constructed devices of some sort. There are parchments spread out with some covered in like sketch drawings, technical drawings, some with sort of math equations. Some of it's all just scribbled out. It's a mess. But there are things like hanging on the walls that are ticking and moving and making sounds and whistles, and their intended purpose are not immediately understood. But there's a lot going on in this house, and so he goes over to the hearth and he stokes the flames, adds some wood. He clears off a bench for you to sit at, and sits on a small stool nearby. And so now that we have some privacy, I'm terribly sorry to bring up your membership in front of your friends. I had assumed, given your traveling with these people, that they knew of your membership, but obviously that's not the case. So sorry.
Oh, no worries. I hadn't mentioned it. It had brought me a spot of trouble in the past, so I tend to keep that bit of information under wraps.
Certainly understandable. I tend to, not bring that up much myself. I should have thought of that, but that's in the past now. So, Beldora told me that you have trouble remembering.
Yes, among other things, yes, primarily, I have a difficulty remembering certain things, and short term and long term especially.
Long term is okay. Do you have any intact memories from your past? Obviously, you are older, and even for an elf. Is there anything that you can remember in full, unfragmented, unaffected, anything of that sort?
Well, recently, yes, I remember my time in the spine, and I remember living with giants, but I don't everything before that is a little bit spotty. It's fragments. It's like someone has shattered a mirror, and it's frozen in midair, and you can see glimpses and little reflections in the mirror, but you can't get the whole picture.
Do you know how long ago it was that you found yourself in the spine of the world? That you found yourself living amongst giants? Do you have a time frame?
No, I don't. It could have been 100 years ago, or 30, or 10.
No, I understand. If this has also affected your short-term memory, then certainly the passage of time would be difficult to track. Well, I'm afraid that my abilities and knowledge are not what you need for your condition, but there is someone who could help. He resides in Everland. If you find yourself there, then I would seek out a wizard there by the name of Crowan. Crowan Valharrow. He will be in the Moongleam Tower. Hard to miss. Very large tower in a very otherwise low town. It's a good place, but a headquarters of sort for our organization. He may be able to at least assess your condition. I cannot promise that he can fix it, but he may have information on this condition, perhaps how it came about, perhaps how to bring your memories back, if that is possible. And for your sake, I hope it is. But certainly, if you wish to have your mind whole again, he may be your best bet. He is a high-ranking member of the Harper, so I'm sure he would be willing to help out a member such as yourself. He may even have records of your membership from before your memory was broken. I'm speculating. I have not been to Everland in quite a long time myself. But yes, I think that would be your best bet. I'm terribly sorry that I can't help you myself. That must be difficult to carry, to live with.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed. I'm happy that you're able to point me in the right direction. So thank you for that. Would you mind ever so much writing it down for me?
Yes, of course. What a silly of me. And he goes over to a table where there's a pile of parchments, and he starts sort of ruffling through them, trying to find a blank one, and then grabs a quill and starts looking for an ink pot, and eventually he scribbles it all down for you and lets it dry, folds it up, and hands it over. And I do truly hope that Crowan can help you with this. If there's anything else that I can do, let me know. Yeah, I wish you luck.
Do you have any book?
I have many books. What sorts of books would you like?
I would love. I don't want to ask too much, but I would like to read some spells.
Spells? Oh, I'm not much in the magical ways. Never did quite get a handle on those. I might have something. Give me a moment. And he goes to a large trunk. It's almost bigger than he is in the back corner, and he lifts it open, and it's just piled high inside, and he just starts, no. He pulls out a book, and he's looking at it, and this might do. And he pulls it over, and I'm not sure that there's much in the way of spells in here, but there's fundamentals. Yeah, I'm sure that you already know all this.
Oh well, if it's fundamentals, I'm sure it could be useful. I have a friend who is quite interested in how magic works. We spoke about it at length today, and I'm sure he would be very, very interested in learning from me.
Oh, well, then, by all means. And he hands it over, and I never did get much use out of it. Never quite got it. Was much better building things and putting them together than trying to pull things out of thin air. But, everyone has their strength.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. If there's anything that you need help with, I'm more than happy to help.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I have been working on this one device, and I can't quite seem to get it to work. And he brings you over to some technical drawings, and he starts pointing and talking about the process of getting to that point and where the interconnected pieces were going, and it's supposed to be able to help the miners to dig faster and more safely, but it likes to explode. I haven't quite worked out the exploding part yet.
Is that not a feature?
Well, I mean, in certain situations, controlled explosions are certainly of assistance in the mines, but this one's not quite controlled.
Well, I can take a look at it. Did you want me to roll anything to see if I can fix the explodey thing?
Just make an intelligence check.
Okay. Oh, my...
See if you can understand the plans and his intentions.
I want to know what it is. Roll well.
Intelligence in... Where is it?
It's one of the 6 on the left.
Okay.
Alright, so,
Wow.
You sit down and you study it, and this is really where your mind starts to kick in. It seems very strange at first, but once you have studied it over a couple times, you start to see the patterns, the same sort of fundamentals of when you study new spells. You kind of get the basics and start to see how the pieces are supposed to align, and there's a point where you could tell there's a bit of pressure buildup where there's no release.
Right.
And that could very well be leading to the explosion he has been talking about.
Yes. Well, perhaps instead of expelling all of the energy at once, why don't you expel a little bit of it, a little bit at a time, so that the pressure is not constantly building up and combusting.
He looks at the plans and he... Oh, of course. I don't know why it didn't strike me before. Thank you. Have you worked with Clockworks and these devices before?
I don't remember it, but fresh pair of eyes and all that.
Certainly. Well, thank you. That could very well solve the problem. I will get to work on this right away. Thank you.
No problem. Well, I should be going. I should rejoin my friends.
Yes, well, I wish you luck on your journey, and don't lose that paper.
Yes. Well, yes. And he tucks it into his robes. And as he's leaving, I would like to do a very sneaky thing and leave a couple of gold on the table.
All right.
But I don't want him to see it.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh boy. 7.
Well, it starts to go well, and then one of the devices hanging on the wall kind of starts screeching, and it startles you a bit, and the coins clank to the floor. And he kind of glances over, but doesn't really seem to take too much notice as he quickly goes back to the drawings, and he starts scribbling notes pretty furiously. They're on the floor, but
I pick up the coins and put them on the table.
all right.
And then I leave.
All right. That's where we will end tonight. We will pick up again next week. Because schedule, yes, next week. All right.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's good. So thank you all so much for joining us. It's always a blast. Have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving
Happy Thanksgiving.
from your friendly northern
Canadian
neighbors.
Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
Happy normal, non-qualified Thanksgiving.
3 of
Just
us
saying,
and 2 of you.
if
There's
you
Canadians.
want to enjoy pumpkin pie, just tell everybody that you're celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving. You're welcome.
Hey, that's a plus.
Enjoy
You
it.
get to enjoy Thanksgiving twice in a year.
Exactly. And anyways, whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or not, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Play some games. Have some fun. Be nice to each other. Have a good night.
So long.
Bye, everybody.
When should I end it now?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Anytime.
I can wave some more.
I
That's
like
fun.
I like
yeah.
waving.
Yeah.
Good. All right, let's just keep waving then.
Yeah, let's
We've
do
been-
it.
we've been
Callie,
gone for minutes.
17 hours.
Callie.
We've been gone for
What?
minutes, haven't we?
No, we're still here.
Lauren and Callie hate waves.